It's funny you say that, TJ, because at the beginning of the season, when you guys first went onto the show, you guys kind of embraced the whole snake in the grass thing, which I thought was hilarious, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Was that just kind of like, in a way, like taking it away from them, like taking the power away from them to try to use that against you?
Well, it just sounded like all they really had. You know what I mean? They've been using one thing, you know, and it's like the 8 Mile. You know, if you say what they're going to do first, and they just look like idiots because that's all they really have. You know, they're not very original. They got Conor's dick in their mouth talking about what he's talking about, and they can't really come up with their own shit. They don't have anything, you know?
Yeah, another funny aspect about that, too, is before that comment of Conor saying that on the show, it was a couple years before that, a fan made TJ a Wikipedia page and gave him the nickname the Viper. So TJ was going by the snake and the Viper way before Conor even said it. But that's just his natural emotion to pull people in, cracking them. So it's shooting, it's his style. It was his, part of his name before any of this drama came up. So they're all just right on board.
That's funny.
You know?
TJ, let me ask you, without giving away any spoilers on the season, we saw the one video that was out there, and, you kind of said in the preview, Cody's a hothead, and we saw him, he went after Conor in the one season. It looked like he tried to get physical with you during this season. So no spoilers, but how much do you feel like you learned about Cody Garbrandt during this season of the show in terms of his mentality and maybe what you can use against him in the fight?
Maybe not so much learn, but just reinstated what I've already known about the guy, that he's a complete fucking idiot. That he doesn't, he's not very smart, and he's hot-headed, and he's just gonna, I don't know, man. That's it. Really, I mean, there's not much going behind that other than getting a haircut, making sure your eyebrows are lined up, and being a hothead. That's all he's really got.
Yeah, he's still just young and figuring stuff out, as we all are. He's just a little, he's just like what I said. He's young. He's got the title, he's on top of the world. He's undefeated as a pro, so he's probably feeling like he's the man, right? And I guess technically on paper he is because he's got the belt. But I would choose to use this time a bit more productively rather than act like an asshole and creating drama, but to spread a good message, and help people out. But people have, he's just still a bit young. I think he's kind of easy to manipulate. I think he's got some people in his ears.
Yeah. TJ, to your point, I'm
curious.
Guys. Let me ask you, TJ, because you I know this doesn't make it any better. I'm not trying to harp on this, but the fight you had with Dominic, a lot of people will tell you that you won the fight. I thought you won the fight, but it was a close fight. But I did think we saw a different Dominic Cruz against Cody. What do you think it was? I mean, was it just he was off that night? I mean, you fought the guy. What do you think was different?
I thought with all the animosity going back and forth with the guys, it was going to affect Cody more than it affected Cruz, but Cruz didn't fight the same, man. I don't know. Like Dwayne said, he fought angry. He stayed in the pocket longer than he's used to. He didn't make, and part of that's Cody. Props to Cody too. He waited for him a lot more. I'm always the aggressor, and I try to aggress, and I wanted to chase Cruz down and finish him. And Cody played a little bit smarter and kind of waited for him and hit him with those short punches as he comes in, and that was smart. What I did more of in the fourth and fifth round against Cruz is waited for him a little bit more, and was able to start picking him apart and could have finished him if I fought him that way the entire 5 rounds.
So they studied that fight.
Yeah. So I mean, he did a good job, man. I mean, I was impressed. And then with all the shit I'm talking about, Cody and being a dumbass and everything, it's just because I had to deal with him the last 6 weeks. I got this thing with it. So, but yeah, he did a great job, man.
Yeah. Let me switch gears, because at the end of the day, you're here not only for yourself, but you're here to coach these fighters. And this is a very interesting season of the show, because we got 14 guys who are coming back, and a lot of guys that we all know. I mean, Joe Stevenson was back, which is crazy. James Krause, who is a current UFC lightweight, came back to the show. You mentioned, JT Money, Jesse Taylor was back. A lot of the guys there. So TJ, from your aspect, was it more fun stepping into a season with kind of established veterans versus like the newcomers? I mean, how was your thought process, kind of going into that part of the show?
No, I wouldn't say more fun. I would say that it was a little bit easier. Easier. In some aspects it's easier, in some it's not. I would say easier because you would expect all these guys to come in and know a lot more of their stuff. And I think when it came down to that, I didn't have to hold anybody's hands to make weight. They've all been doing it for their career for a while now. They're all older. They're not looking to be young and dumb at the house. I don't have to really hold anybody's hand, but still, I one hard part is that a lot of guys have habits. You know, they come in with things they've learned for a long time, and if it's something that doesn't really vibe with your style, you can't continue to teach them your style. You got to make them better at their own. So just learning to adapt to each guy's style, you know, and they've all been doing what they've been doing for so long. So, you know, it was good, man. It was good and challenging at the same time.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, I'm not going to point out any specific people, but one thing I noticed is fighters seem to be really, really good at cutting weight, but not all of them really know how to train. It's like they just learned how to cut weight perfectly, but nobody took the time to train.
And that was one of the things I was really impressed with TJ on the show was his coaching abilities. And that's why recently he just got promoted to black belt under me, because he can perform all the drills and combinations that I've ever create. And he's obviously a ninja in the gym. But I was talking with Sensei Root, and he said, well, let's see how TJ teaches. So when the Ultimate Fighter came up and tried to sit back and watch TJ coach all these athletes for 6 weeks, and so he can break down every aspect of the sport perfectly and help not just teach his style, but to adapt to the athlete and make sure he's helping them get better at their typical traits. And that's what he did really well at, which is why he got his black belt. Just throw it out there. But TJ is he's an awesome instructor.
Yeah. Well, Bang, let me ask you, because we know, Bang, we've talked about this in the past. You're kind of an obsessive coach, and I mean that as an absolute compliment. You know, you spend a lot of time breaking down video and helping your fighters, and everyone knows, you know, TJ has kind of been your prized pupil. We've seen the improvements and the things that he's done under your tutelage. But how proud were you to see TJ kind of do his thing as a coach and kind of take the things he's learned under you and kind of become his own coach? But I mean, I got to imagine that makes you even prouder of the work you put in together, that you can kind of see him go off and do those kind of things, and why I imagine you gave him the black belt.
Yeah, 100%. You know, he's just he's a world-class athlete that knows how to break everything down. I haven't seen anybody put all the three things together as well as TJ. I mean, that's compared to any mixed martial artist that's ever been. TJ puts all together the best that I've seen. But to see him, and he's not just sharing my information. And you know, I didn't make TJ. Helped him find his potential. There are a lot of people give me credit for him, and I appreciate that. But you know, he's the one putting all the work. He's the one choosing to listen, and then it's a really co-op relationship. Because if you like to do something that's a ninja, and I've never thought of, I'm gonna keep doing that. Then you know, I'm not gonna listen to you. But where I'm going out with this is TJ can obviously teach it, and he can fight with it, and he's the best mixed martial artist that's ever been on this earth, and that's my honest opinion.
Yeah, TJ, in a lot of ways,
you're badass, buddy.
in a lot of ways, TJ, I would say that you are undefeated under Bang. I mean, I think we've talked about the quote unquote losses you've had, but you've pretty much.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you keep getting better. We saw it in the John Lineker fight, and I was at the John Lineker fight. I mean, that was such a performance against such a dangerous guy. I mean, the way you kind of decimated him in a way that no one had been able to do since he came back to 135. And I know Cody's a much different fighter, but I mean, how do you think you combine all that? Because you get a little bit of that dominant Cruz style with the movement, but then you get a little bit of that power with the John Lineker. It feels like everything you've been doing to get to this point has perfectly prepared you for a Cody Garbrandt. Am I wrong?
Really, just kind of prepare yourself for every fight. But no, I wouldn't say you're wrong. But I think that's what we do such a good job at, is preparing for each athlete. You know, not overthinking what they're good or bad at, but really just focusing on making myself better, and then just changing what I'm going to do for the fight. You know, some guys are better at other things, and so by being a well-rounded mixed martial artist, you're able to use that to your advantage. You know, and so now I like to consider myself a smarter fighter. You know, I'm going to go in there with not just a game plan, but just a way of how to fight someone. You know, because game plans always change. You get in there, they always never really work out exactly how you want them to. But if you go in there with an idea of how you're going to fight the guy, that's the best way to approach it. You know.
Yeah.
And that's another awesome trait about TJ is, you know, we always have a game plan on things that we're going to do, but he's very good at adapting to what the situation at hand. He can change it from round to round or in the middle of the round. Same thing with Justin Benavidez. They're both very good at adapt situation, and not just adapting to the situation, but creating a situation also. They're literally ninjas.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let me go around the horn with some kind of fun questions here. TJ, same question. Best and worst part.
Man, that's a tough one. I even got time to sit here and think about it. But I'm gonna have to say, like, you're not gonna really know what this means until the show actually comes out.
Yep.
But But my best part, my most memorable best part about the thing is knowing that Matt Brown's always got my back. Even during the coaches' challenge, he's always got my back. that was just the best thing. So that's between me, Matt, and Dwayne. We know what we're talking about, and then everyone else will have to find out when the show comes out.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, just to add to that real quick, man, one of the best parts about it, to be honest, that nobody's mentioned was the fights, man. There were some great fights, man. I've watched The Ultimate Fighter for years, and I'm like everybody else, man. Nobody cares to watch all the drama, really. I mean, I'm sure there's that group of people out there, but I know Damon, you got the show for the hardcores here, so all these people they're going to want to watch these fights, man. They're worth watching, and I'm the type of person, I just fucking love being next to a fight, in the cage side to a fight, man. I don't think there's a better thing in the world